closed captioning for jeans floor coverings. High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon, is sponsored by Baptist Healthcare. Watching Jeans Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
From Niceville High School, welcome to High School Hoops tonight. It's girls' night out. The Washington Wildcats take on the Niceville Eagles here at Niceville. Two of the best teams in the area. Washington, hi everyone, Dan Short along with Jeff Price. 5 games into the season.
They get it.
We almost forget doing that, yeah. Two of the best teams in Northwest Florida going at it tonight. The Washington Wildcats, 16-3 on the year. They're ranked second in the state in 5A. They're on an 11-game winning streak. Niceville, 17-6. They just slipped to number 5 in the state in Class 6A. They have some injury concerns. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first of all, Washington, they had their injury concerns at the start of the year. Best player in the area, Shemaiah Francis, was out, and but they're up to date.
Yeah, well, senior Florida State signee going to play for the Noles, so Noles fans out there, keep an eye on her. She came back in December after tearing her ACL last year. Well, it was close to a year from now, averaging 9 points, 5.5 rebounds a game, has played healthy, has looked great down low for him, been a force for him. The junior Nyla Brooks, another one, averages right about 10 points a game. She's played some big games for him. You know, the low-scoring game against Biloxi, which Biloxi's 22-1, by the way. They're pretty darn good. Mm-hmm. Was 4 or 5 from 3. I mean, she had over half their points for that game, kept them in the ball game for a while. So she's one to look out for tonight. And then obviously Jada Clarity averages about 15 coming into the game. Just a leader, kind of takes off when she needs to. But the good thing with Washington is they're so deep. They've got so many different players that can just sub in and out whenever they need to. And they're led by head coach Jade Brown, 60-11 the last 3 years. She's one of the best in the area and the best to do it for quite some time.
And she will take on Megan Darhauer's Niceville Eagles tonight. The injury issues they have, Carson Fayard, the senior guard for Niceville, their best player and one of the very best players in the area, wants to go to the Air Force Academy, waiting to hear if she's going to go there and would play there. She sprained her ankle against Crestview 12 days ago, missed the second half of that game, hasn't played since, and we do not expect her to play tonight. They are a different team without her. They've dropped their last 2 games without Fayard in the lineup. However, they are not going without Adrena Nelson, number 5. She is a transfer from Colorado, and she has averaged about 16 a game. In fact, she scored 28 against Washington in the season opener. So she's had some success against this team. She's going to need some success tonight to lead Niceville into what would be an upset bid tonight against the Washington Wildcats. It's Washington and Niceville, the girls' night out here on High School Hoops. right, teams coming on the floor, getting ready to play here tonight at Niceville. It's the only game on the schedule here at Niceville. With all the weather, I'm not sure if that had a factor, but they canceled the JV game earlier. So the two teams now getting ready to go. The Ville on the floor, Niceville in the white with the maroon trim. Washington in the blue. The tip ahead went right to Shemaiah Francis. Starting lineups for you for the Wild. Well, get them when we can. As that ball batted out of bounds to Washington. Here you go, Niceville. KK Hardy, Mariana Durr, Adrena Nelson, number 5 for Niceville, is one to watch. Ramayan Trippo and Mariah Herron getting the start in the absence of Carson Fayard. Block shot inside and tied up, and the alternating possession will stay at that end of the floor with Niceville. The defensive play by Jada Clarity, number 1. Nyla Brooks wears number 10. And Samaya Johnson getting the start tonight in the backcourt. And then Kaylin Thomas wears number 20. She's a sophomore, already has an offer from South Alabama. And then, of course, Shemaiah Francis, number 25, a 6'2 senior who is already signed with Florida State. Niceville mishandling into the backcourt. That's an over and back violation. So a bit of an unforced error there for Niceville. Washington gets the ball back. Washington will force a lot of turnovers. It's their the defensive pressure really is the identity of this team. And they convert a lot of that into offense. Cutting, and there's Thomas off. That's a tough angle. Somehow she got that around the board, couldn't get it to go, but drew the foul, first foul of the game. And it is on Niceville's Marina Durr. So to the line, Kaylin Thomas, 5'7" sophomore, 67% free throw shooter on the year. Gets them both. Washington's on the board first in that full court pressure. Batted out of bounds by Clarity. Just a sophomore. It's a really young Washington team. 4 seniors, 2 juniors, although one of the juniors is going to graduate early and might as well be a senior. Good speed. And Thomas can't finish, but Clarity on the board and finally batted out. Washington again comes up with it. Clarity.
Good dish.
Nicely. Got a nice assist by Clarity. And the basket belonged to Samaya Johnson. 4-0 Washington. And again, violation. A turnover as Marina Durr traveled.
Durr's going to check out. That'll be Avery Cowles. Checking in number 1 for the Eagles.
Avery Cowles. 5'6" sophomore. One of the questions with Marina Durr at 5'2", the question was, will she handle the defensive pressure, the traps that Booker T uses almost as their base defense. And driving, laying it up and in. Nice shot by Nyla Brooks.
Boy, Nyla just being patient, waiting for that lane to open up and takes her opportunity.
And again, the double team knocked loose, and coming out with it was Nyla Brooks.
Tie up. You see early on just how physical Washington's going to be.
Tied up Adrena Nelson there.
Cowles tried to get it. Clarity will inbound.
Down low, Shemaiah Francis, and boy, you can't let her post up there, but
absolutely not.
Yeah. Ryan Trippo has a really tough defensive assignment.
Oh, there it is again. She stepped on the sideline.
It's 4 turnovers, and we're 2 minutes into the game.
8-0.
And again, the absence of Carson Fayard. She does so much for this team, not just the scoring, which is obviously a big factor Shemaya Francis again. That's her second bucket.
Well, without fair, it allows Washington to be just even more aggressive, knowing they don't have that extra hand out there.
Here's a foul on Kaylin Thomas.
Checking in, Jasmine Corner. Checking for Samaya Johnson.
Corner, 5'8" senior, wears number 23. Took last year off. She was in the program as a freshman and a sophomore, and then did not play last year. Nice three, and getting on the board for Niceville. That's for Mayan Trippo with the three. 20% three-point shooter on the year. Boy, they needed it then.
Trippo comes in about a little over 3 points a game. Well, she got herself three right there.
Nice backdoor cut, nice pass. The basket by Flaherty, the assist to Nyla Brooks. That was pretty. Avery Coles, number one, handling the pressure a little better. Down low, that's Nelson. Inside, back out to Coles for the three-pointer.
Oh, how about that?
Avery Coles with the three, and it's a 12-6 game. So after giving up the first 10 points of the game, a couple of three-pointers, shooting Niceville back into it.
At least offensively for Niceville, you can take a deep breath.
Nice move by Thomas and gets the roll. Young team, but really, really talented. She's a sophomore. That's Nelson right there, who had the big night against Washington in the season opener.
Hit 28. Flaherty. A fast break opportunity.
Blocked from behind. Yes. Nice defensive play by KK Hardy. Yeah, I gave you some bad information there, Jeff. She had 27 against Washington in the season opener.
That's just ridiculous.
Boy, an opportunity there, and you can't miss the inside chances you get. There's not going to be many of those. Nyla Brooks gets it to Shemaya Francis. He really hasn't been scoring as much since coming back from the ACL. She missed the first 4 games of the year. Nice shot along the baseline, but there she is on the offensive boards. And back up and can't get it to go. Rebound, loose ball comes off to Ramayan Trippo.
Oh, great defense.
There's Nelson. Can't get that one to go. Trying to draw the foul.
Yeah, looking for it.
Better hustle back as Washington's off and running. Thomas lost the ball on the way up. Somebody might have gotten a hand on it. Flaherty, no. Gets her own rebound. Back out to Francis, and they'll slow it down and set it back up. Nyla Brooks, the point guard. Backs it up, 2:49 to play. Francis inside, gets it to go again. 6 points for Shemaya Francis.
Trippo trying everything she can down there.
Well, about the only chance she has is not let her get the ball down there. Timeout, 2:20 to play. Washington off to a 16-6 lead, and we'll take a timeout. 10-point lead for the Wildcats.
You're watching Jeans Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
Washington scored the first 10 points of the game. Niceville hit a couple of threes to get back in it, but it's a 10-point Wildcat lead now here. Still in the first quarter, 2:20 to go here on High School Hoops. It is a bit of an important game for seeding. Niceville was ranked 4th in the state this week after the 2 losses after Carson Fayard's injury. The 2 losses to Freeport and Fort Walton Beach, both very good teams. Have dropped them behind Navarre, and so Navarre will have the home court advantage in the district tournament if it comes down to Niceville and Navarre, as that district will almost certainly do. So Niceville's already dropped 1 spot, and, if you get into the regional playoffs, and home court might depend on the ranking. This is a game that could help either team, actually. So an important game from that standpoint.
Yeah, you see the rebound right there fighting for it. Oh, Battles won't give up.
See if they can find a way to
Turnover.
And get Nelson going offensively.
Clarity through the lane.
Down the lane she goes. Somebody got a hand on that. It goes out of bounds to Washington. 1:22 to play. It's KK Hardy. Number 2. Yeah, might have been reaching in. She's the one who batted it out of bounds. Up off the Washington bench. Back into the game. Kaylin Thomas. She'll replace Samaya Johnson. Clarity. Jada is, of course, the twin sister of Jaden Clarity, a sophomore on the Washington boys team. Nice shot. That is that mid-range game. 8-foot fall away. Nice shot by her, and she's got her 4th point. It's 18-6. Air ball knocked out of bounds by whom? By Washington. It went off Thomas.
KK Hardy trying to get something going. Open 3 right there.
They really need to get Nelson going. Nelson is hounded defensively by Amari Hall right now. 3-pointer on the way. That's off the mark. Clarity with the rebound. Chases it down, nobody blocking her off. And traveling before the shot rolled in.
So one thing you know about Washington, as good as they can shoot it when they need to, they are attacking the basket every single time down the floor.
Offensive rebound. Trippo came up empty on the offensive board, but Bria Daly comes back out with it. Kicks it back out to Coles. 3-pointer by Trippo.
Oh, how about that?
A triple for Trippo. First seconds,
6.
yeah. 9 points, all from behind the arc. Well, they have shot themselves into some games before. And that's a foul called and a shooting foul. Foul is on Kamari Hardy. And it'll put Jada Clarity on the free throw line. She's 65% on the year.
And Brooks makes the first one. Brooks. 2-2.
Gordon had that one wrong. And that'll do it. That's the end of the first quarter. It's been all Washington. Niceville trying to hang in there, see if they can cut into this lead in the second quarter. 20-9, Washington by 11.
You're watching Gene's Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
right, the Niceville Eagles breaking the huddle here for the second quarter. They spotted Washington, a 10-0 lead, and trying to hang in there with a three-pointer. They've hit 3 of them in this game, and that's all they're scoring, coming from behind the arc. And Audrina Nelson, who had 27 in the first meeting with Washington, has not scored yet. Down low, Shemaya Francis. Can't get that one to go. And a travel down low. Fighting for the ball down there was Samaya Johnson. Samaya Johnson got the start tonight. Nelson really hounded defensively. Amari Hall is doing the job on Audrina Nelson. She hadn't scored yet.
Basically let anybody else.
Half rolls in.
I'm pretty sure Francis partially blocked that one.
That's Bria Daly, the freshman with a little English.
How about it? Oh, nice job by Chapeau down low, denying the block.
Nelson launches the 3. That's well off the mark. She rushed it. And rebound fumbled out of bounds by Kamari Hardy. Could not control it. Opportunity there for Niceville.
Couple changes here. For the Wildcats, Clarity will check back in. Riley Smith, number 5 as well for the Wildcats.
They are so deep, especially in the backcourt. And with Clarity, Hall, Smith, either one of them. In fact, we thought one or the other was going to start tonight. Instead, it was Samaya Johnson. That's how deep they are. And then, of course, Nyla Brooks and Kaylin Thomas. So you have quality and a lot of depth, and actually it's a lot of youth as well in that backcourt. High post, Francis, really good passer from there.
Also tried.
Shemaya to the floor, gets helped up by our teammates. She does so many different things, and as Jade Brown said, Shemaya Francis, her mere presence on the court lifts the rest of the team, but she doesn't look to me like she's moving the way she did when she was healthy. And if you've had an ACL injury, it's just psychological, even though she's healthy, and Jade Brown said she's fine with it, but there's just some things that haven't come yet, in her game, and maybe just the confidence to be quick. But she doesn't look like she's nearly 100%.
Swatted away.
Nice play defensively by Thomas. And just to put a bow on what Shemaya Francis playing this year, she tore the ACL in practice before the district tournament a year ago. She was cleared to play in October, medically cleared. Missed the first 4 games, sat out the first 4 games, and then really they kind of managed her minutes coming back. But Jade Brown said there were no conversations as to whether she would sit out or not. She didn't want to sit out, but Jade said we are not going to risk her Florida State career. So it was going to be completely Shemaya's decision whether she wanted to play. She certainly did, but also if there's any question medically, she wasn't going to be allowed on the floor.
Has a bright future ahead.
She sure does.
Foul earlier was on Mari Hall for the Wildcats.
3-point attempt again.
Oh boy, it looked good.
Yeah. And a foul there on Coles. With a little push. Avery Coles, her first foul, sophomore guard for Niceville. Before the shot, called for the travel.
Check it out. Yep, you saw it right there.
but frankly, the move, strong move.
Yeah.
Probably the best she did. Any move she made so far tonight.
Look at that confidence builder. Low defensively.
Good job defensively and forcing the 5-second call and the turnover. Timeout on the floor. It's a 30-second timeout, so we will stay here. Next to our, well, let's take one more look at the turnover there with Francis. She's moving, moving well there and forcing the turnover. Even if she hadn't gotten the 5-second call, the pass was on his way out of bounds. There you see Megan Darhauer talking to her team. And I believe looks like Carson Fayard in the striped sweater to her left, I believe. Perhaps. Actually, no. You know who that I think that's Jamie Fayard. Carson's mom, who's one of the assistant coaches here. That is who that is, I'm sure. Still down 9. Niceville with a chance if they can get somebody. And I'm thinking Nelson going, but they're doing a great job defensively on her. Now this trapping defense, and Thomas almost came up with the steal, then did.
Fast break.
Rebound pulled down nicely by Tripot, loses the handle, and banking it in is Samaya Johnson.
Johnson's got 4. Nelson, Nelson just wants to pull the trigger. Look at this.
And she will go to the line. She can't get her first basket, but she does draw the foul from Samaya Johnson. And so it'll be Audrina Nelson, 72% free throw shooter, going to the line.
Nelson comes into the night averaging 16. See Fayard being out. She goes 2 for 2. And to step up.
And, what an addition she's been. She, the tandem backcourt, and we assume Fayard hopefully will be healthy for the district tournament and certainly beyond with the high ankle sprain she suffered against Crestview. But how tough they are together in that backcourt. Either one is a tough matchup. Two of them together.
We got a tough matchup.
Yeah, clarity.
Yeah, you think Fayard gets healthy, just Eagles got a good chance to make a run.
Which, three-pointer again.
I gave her 2.
It's a 2.
It's on the line. She got greedy.
That was Trippo, right?
Yeah, it was.
Wow. She had 5 3-pointers all year coming in at tonight's game. 5 for 25. She's hit, well, I thought it was 3, but it's 2 now. And that foul is called on Ramayan Trippo.
Well, she shows up when the camera comes on, huh? She's been waiting all year.
Francis back in the game for Washington.
Kevion Williams, number 12 for the Wildcats.
5'6", another sophomore, one of the 4 sophomores on this varsity team. Nyla Brooks is a junior.
Brooks has got 6.
Foul is on Thomas. That's her second, correct?
That is correct. So you're trying to cut her off?
So she comes out. Zariah Milton comes in to replace her, freshman, wearing number 15. 2 freshmen on this team. Nice cross-court pass by Nelson. That's a 2-pointer. It's going to be short. Nelson tried to run down the rebound. Couldn't get the handle. Brooks reaching in and fouling her was Bria Daly, I believe.
And a Trippo.
Daly reaching in. Yeah. Daly, the freshman. Nyla Brooks, excellent free throw shooter, 79% on the year.
Making her money tonight. 5 points to the line.
Six. She has 10, right?
Got it for 8. We'll figure it out.
Yep. I trust you more than I trust me.
I don't know about that, but
Francis doing a nice job on the board. I think she's posting up.
She's physical.
Yep. She's animated. This is a lot. This is probably a little more life than I've seen out of her the last couple of games we've seen.
I'll be on KK Hardy. And Francis started out in the first with 6 points. Went a little quiet. He looked good there. She's got 9.
31-15 as Washington to stretch it out to a 16-point lead. They're 9 for 9 from the free throw line, by the way. And losing that one out of bounds, Bria Daly.
Gotta be quick, make a move.
Inside, and up with the left hand, and the rebound comes off to Avery Coles. That was blocked.
Clarity.
Yeah, Clarity got a hand on it.
Uh-oh, there's a fast break. There it is. Williams. Yeah, Bow Wow Masters fast break. Had a couple tonight.
9-0 run. Walk.
Boy, how about that?
Rebound. Oh, Trippo comes up to the rebound. Well, the howitzer from the corner. Mariah Herron down the lane, drawing the foul.
That'll be on Coles.
And Brooks goes to the line again. 6 for 6 from the line tonight.
Hey, you know, we got to do Washington's boys game the other day. Hey, Washington, the guys and the girls play very similar. Focus on that defensive end. Can shoot it.
Free throws. We're going to take a timeout. 1:21 to play in the first half, and Washington by 20.
You're watching Gene's Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
Niceville huddle trying to cool off this Washington run and open the lead to 20 points of the Wildcats with an 11-0 run, outscoring Niceville 15-6 here in the second quarter. Back in the game, Morena Durr, number 4. He started the game as guard. Nelson gets it back to Durr. Nelson for 3. That's off the mark. Rushed it a little bit, and that's Washington doing a much better job defensively on Nelson. They did the first meeting, not letting her drive where she did a lot of her damage in that game back in November. And fouls on Hardy. Is that number 3?
That's number 3.
There's Coles back into the game for Niceville. 50 seconds to go in the half. Clarity. I tell you, as they look towards the postseason, one thing Jade Brown has to like is team free throw shooting.
That's incredible.
13 for 13 from the line tonight. On the year, they're 60%.
How many games have we done this year? We've seen free throw shooting be abysmal. Good look.
Coles draws the foul. She got the return pass from Mila Daly, who just checked into the game a moment ago. Fouls on Williams. Deviana Williams. Avery Coles. Gets the second. That snaps a 13-point run by Washington. Final 30 seconds of the half. In all Wildcats. Nice pass to Clarity, great pass. That's what Nyla Brooks could really do. That's a wonderful pass on the cut by Clarity. Ball knocked out of bounds by Washington, 2.5 seconds, 2.9 seconds. Niceville, see if they can get a shot off. Not from there, they won't. Yes, they will. That'll do it. First half, it's all Wildcats. Niceville, of course, playing without their best player, Carson Fayard, and it really took them a while to get going. But they go to the locker room down 23. Washington, it's all Wildcats looking for their 12th straight win.
You're watching Gene's Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
My post-graduation plans are to go to the Air Force Academy and play basketball and go to school there. The first 2 years I'm kind of just figuring everything out, but I've been looking at career paths and I'm very interested in weather and possibly being a chaplain and also medical. I participate in basketball and track and field. I do the hurdles, so 400 and 100 meter hurdles, and then also some relays. I love competing and I love being around people that also love competing. I would especially like to thank my mom and my dad for supporting me through everything, and I would like to thank all of my family for being there for me. I would like to thank my coaches that have pushed me along the way and my teammates that have also pushed me. And I would like to thank the city of Niceville for coming out and supporting, and most importantly, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Hi, I'm Gary Winkler with Reef Runner Remodeling and Repair. At Reef Runner Remodeling and Repair, we understand the value of education and teamwork that is gained through high school sports. That's why we are a proud supporter of student athletes everywhere.
Thank you, Reef Runner Remodeling and Repair, for the opportunity to compete for the Scholar Athlete of the Year.
Here are the best high school hoops plays from across the country.
5 seconds to go, inbounded. It'll count.
Shot, finish the quarter.
Really good heady plays. Alley-oop, alley-oop, alley-oop. Back-to-back turnovers. This one leads to the big dunk inside by Terrell Johnson.
Now she's got an open three. It's on the way, and it is good. 10 3-pointers for Aliyah Vance tonight.
There goes Fry. Another dunk for the Morgantown Mohegans. Max Fry with 15.
Against pressure. Hands at the Washington. 4 seconds. Cranley Johnson. Oh! It's the Pensacola State College halftime here at Niceville, where the Washington Wildcats looking for their 12th straight win as they round into postseason form with the district tournaments next week, February 2nd. They begin for the girls. The boys tournament will start the next day. Washington up by 23 against a very short-handed Niceville team, which kind of brings me to the Jeans Flooring hardwood feature. Carson Fayard, who is not playing tonight for Niceville. She's still nursing that ankle she sprained 12 days ago at Crestview. The Eagles lost the 2 games they played without her, and they're down by 23 here in the third game out of the lineup. Important thing for her and for them is that she gets healthy for the postseason, the district tournament next week, and of course Niceville in that same district with Navarre. That's going to be a heck of a district tournament coming down to those two, we would assume. But Carson Fayard, as you heard on the she was our scholar athlete from Niceville, wants to attend the Air Force Academy, study dentistry, but her family tree is one of the great athletic family trees in Okaloosa County. Her grandfather, Lionel Fayard Sr., the head coach of Choctaw's 1990 state championship team. Lionel Jr. is her dad, and Jamie, her mom. Her mom's an assistant coach with this Niceville basketball team, and her brother Maddox, terrific wide receiver for Niceville. He's now at the Naval Academy. And her little sister Zoe in 8th grade. She'll be coming up to play for Niceville next year. So a great athletic family in Okaloosa County, the Fayards. We'll be back with the second half.
You're watching Jeans Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
All right, some smiles in the Niceville huddle. They are down 23, trying to solve a few things in the second half. And at this point, for Niceville, whether you get back in the game or not, which even, no matter how well you play against this opponent, that's a tall order, but we'll see. But you just want to be able to, A, take care of the basketball, and B, a little more physical. Those are keys that Megan Darhauer, the head coach, said coming into the game. We really need to be more physical anyway.
What a
nice
look.
pass inside by Francis. Clarity can't finish, but she gets the own rebound and puts it back in. Clarity's 12th point tonight. Nelson held scoreless in that first half.
Good look.
Pass inside, gets the assist.
Kay Hardy gets on the board tonight.
That kicked out of bounds, so it'll stay with Washington. Yeah, I'd say the things I'm going to look for from Washington, and we did see signs of it in the late second quarter, is see if Francis can find her rhythm. Mostly at the offensive end. She's been terrific defensively, and we've seen flashes of it, just maybe more on a consistent basis. Nice shot defensively as it was Brooks shutting off Nelson.
You talk about Francis, she's got 11 tonight.
There's Nelson. Coles. Francis out on her, so Coles drives it and kicks it. Three-pointer on the way. Offensive rebound, Hardy on the miss by Trippo. And out of bounds to Washington. Actually Foul called on Morena Durr.
Off the bench is Jasmine Corner, number 23.
She will give Samaya Johnson a rest. One of the opportunities Washington has in the second half is, obviously they want to protect the lead, but really the thing is, if you've got a ball club that has big expectations and hopes for the postseason like Washington does, legitimate expectations of making a run, you get into a game like this, and the one thing that you really kind of have to guard against is you have a big lead against a good opponent, and you're kind of letting up. You don't want to get into let some baskets go too easily. Nelson couldn't score over Francis. But you want to play solid defense and play fundamentally solid. Don't get sloppy. Clarity, great pass, but there's a foul before Corner could convert it.
There, that's her third. She'll check out. Bria Daly will check in, number 11 for the Eagles.
Bria Daly, the freshman on varsity. Megan Darhauer wasn't sure if she was going to make the varsity until she saw her in camp. And she comes in from the middle school. She's a talented player, but you really don't know until you saw her. She was significantly better than the other freshmen. She's launching. You hit too early, and sometimes that's great, and sometimes that's the worst thing that happens to you. Nelson pass along the baseline out of bounds, and it was knocked out of bounds by Washington. Will stay with Niceville. Nelson, slashing to the basket is a big part of her game. She can have really hot nights shooting the three-pointer, but if it's not there, and actually she really hadn't had a good look from three. I'm not sure she's taken a three tonight.
I don't believe so. Oh, she's taken two. They rushed.
Oh, that's right. They rushed the two
earlier.
threes. Yeah, that pass. Turning it over is Niceville. Chapeau is looking for Hardy. Oh, no, it was deflected out. Okay, stays with the Eagles. Clarity deflects and steals, and then recovering nicely was Coles to knock it loose and regain possession, but then they turn it over. That's Nelson trying to force it a little bit along the baseline, trying to make something happen. Thomas can't get it to go. Clarity
is everywhere. Cole's using the Washington defenders against themselves, just weaving through them.
Nealon Thomas, rebound pulled down and couldn't control it. That was Clarity losing it out of bounds. Into the lineup for Washington is Amari Hall, the senior. She's back in as Jasmine Corner comes to the bench. So guard comes in, a forward comes out. 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here. 4:47 to play. Washington with the big lead. You're looking at Audrina Nelson, looking at it from Niceville's perspective, is they obviously are counting on Carson Fayard coming back for the postseason, and you really cannot overstate how much she means to all the other players on the team. It's not just taking a player out and replacing her and losing what she does. She has so much of an impact on the other players on the court. Even under the way Washington is playing, especially defensively, even with Fayard available tonight, Washington is a better team right now than they were the first meeting. And it's a tough task to beat this team right now. You see Carson Fayard in the white sweater going down to the end of the bench.
Said you were talking about it before the game. There's another Fayard coming up.
Zoe, yeah, she's an 8th grader. She can really shoot it by all accounts. And by all accounts, I mean Megan Darhauer said, yeah, she can shoot it.
The account.
Yeah. Going to the weave. Trippo's not going to throw another one up there from three-point range, is she? I doubt it. And off the Coles. Nice.
Patience.
They sure were, and they get the basket from Kamari Hardy. It's her second basket of the half and of the game.
Uh-oh. All had an open look. Back to back out.
believe it'll be Bria Daly with the reach in. Check that, nope.
Oh, they're going to give it to Nelson.
Yep.
Sarah right there.
So Clarity back to the line. She has 12 on the night. From the line tonight. It's Washington. A 60% free throw shooting team on the year. And sometimes you just have those nights. They can go either way.
Yep.
And now working on the trap. Washington working on some things defensively.
Chapeau.
That's off the mark. Chases down her own rebound, but
holy cows. Cole's jumping in there.
Good battling. Yeah, Coles and here's Avery, a 5'6" sophomore. I tell you what, their defensive intensity and they're battling.
Yeah, she's battling. Look at her jumping in there. No easy task tonight.
Nelson, always a blue shirt right wherever she's going. Chapeau can't get that one to go. Foul called on Hardy.
Hardy, and that's her fourth.
4 fouls on. They have her officially for 3 on the scoreboard here, but we had her for 4. Riley Smith up off the Washington bench. So is Jasmine's corner. Thomas inside to Francis. Still can't get it to go. Take a timeout if we can. Substitution. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a full timeout. 3:06 to play. Third quarter. It's Washington breezing by 25.
You're watching Jeans Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
Washington Wildcats looking in perfect postseason form as they prepare for the district tournament next week. We have one more game on our schedule this Friday. The boys back at it. Catholic at home to West Florida, 7:30 on Friday night. Both those teams playing well this year. Down low, there's Francis again. Nice spin move in. He gets it to go and goes to the line. Foul is on Bria Daly. Francis, 13 points on the night. This is only I believe, her fifth double-digit scoring game.
How about that?
She's come back. And, part of that is because she's done so many other things and focus on a lot of other things. I'm sure some of it is, having to knock a lot of rust off as well. She did come back after sitting out the first 4 games of the year. She went, I think it was her 6th game before she got to double digits. Nice save there by Coles. Avery Coles Off the mark, rebound fought for, tied up. And that'll belong to Washington.
Williams will check back in for the Wildcats as Riley Smith will take a seat.
Both these teams and most of the district tournaments are like this now. The higher seed gets the home court for all the games going through, and that's the way it's going to be. And if we mentioned if the 6A tournament comes down to Navarre and Niceville, as it would figure to, they're two of the top 5 teams in the state. There's a three-pointer on the way out. Looked good, but off the mark. Now Bria Daly couldn't get it to go. She's a pretty good three-point shooter.
Might have been the only open look tonight.
There haven't been many. I mean, this is just a phenomenal defensive effort by Washington.
Francis down low. Boy. She gets going. She is tough. This will be another foul on Bria Daly. Comes over last second. Again, Francis.
Francis with 14.
This is the first missed free throw, I feel like. Maybe tonight for the Wildcats.
It is. They hit their first 16 free throws until then. And then, of course, they get the offensive rebound. Knocked loose. They try to get it into Francis.
Daly driving too hard.
Bria Daly, the freshman, his older sister Mila wears 21. Bria wears 11. Here's Mila. Holes.
Oh, there it is.
I tell you what, that looked good. As soon as it left her hand, it looked like it was going to rattle out for a moment.
Bowles making her Pensacola State College three-point shot. Missed that first open look. Makes the second one. Bowles plays some good minutes.
Mari Hall can't get it to go. Rebound comes off to Bria Daly.
Under a minute.
Bowles. Long rebound. Saved nicely by Cole, but
swatted it right into Francis.
Francis hung on. Final 30 seconds of this third quarter.
There's Jay Brown. She wanted to take the last shot here. And there's a turnover. How about that for Daly? Oh.
Shut off by Thomas. Daly can't get it to go. Another rebound for Francis, and that'll do it. 3 quarters in the books. Washington has built the lead to 27 with 8 minutes to go.
You're watching Gene's Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
12 minutes left to go here at Niceville, and it's been Washington from the start. They scored the first 10 points of the game, and Niceville really unable to get back in it. Hit a couple of threes to make it interesting in the first quarter, but Washington just too strong tonight. And there's been a lot of that lately. This will be their 12th straight win. That defensive pressure, that's the constant for Washington. They can have an off night shooting, and they're still going to be tough. Trippo can't get the first one to go, but Mila Daly gets off the mark and tying her up. Washington's ball. Clarity on the defensive board. She was tied up by Trippo. Got it down low. Johnson had it blocked out of bounds.
Well, Trippo's played a pretty darn good game.
She really has.
And she's had a tough matchup with Francis all night. She's made some big shots.
Flaherty drive it on Nelson. Gets the foul on Nelson and the basket.
Well, Jada Flaherty, we were talking about at break. She has been everywhere tonight. Doing a little bit of everything. Not to mention she's got 16.
And going to the line, try to complete a three-point play.
Francis will check back in for Williams.
Francis has 16.
Really let themselves go shooting these free throws.
Yeah,
missed their last two. After making feels like 100 in a row.
16 for 18 from the line tonight, Washington.
Pretty darn good.
Nice job by Francis. Reading that pass, trying to find Durr along the baseline. And Francis comes up with the steal. She does so many things. For all the, how formidable she is offensively. Foul call there on Bria Daly. But, just reading across the pass, the diagonal pass, and picking that off, and just doing a lot of the little things. And we're saying that this is only her 5th double-digit scoring game, but she's had games where she scored 19, and I think it was her 5th game that she played. But then she had a lot of games where 6 or 8, but 10 rebounds, that kind of stuff. So she does so many different things. Such an all-around player. And then, not to mention the confidence she gives everyone around her. Tied up. That'll belong to Niceville. Jasmine Corner, senior. Jade Brown really happy. Jasmine Corner decided to come back out after taking her junior year off from basketball. Mikhail and Makaria Bonner graduated off last year's team, and so she needed that another body to help out inside, and she decided to come back. And Jade Brown said, part of it was, if someone takes a year off and decides to come back, they have to earn their way back. But what kind of a person they are is a big part of that as well. That foul was on Francis, by the way, and at the free throw line, that is Adrena Nelson.
It's her 4th point tonight. A tough night. They have tried to shut her down the best they can.
Yeah, they've done a good job. She averages 16, and she's got 4. Nyla Brooks gets it down the baseline for a jumper, and that's Flaherty. Yeah. 18 for her.
Coles right to the middle of the lane.
Drawing the foul. Avery Coles. That's the foul on Corner.
Coles has a
3 for 4 from the line. Flaherty. Doesn't get the roll, Samaya Johnson. They call her Bird. Samaya Johnson. Her mom, Sarita Bird, was a member of Washington's last state championship team in 2000. She has a pedigree, a lot of pedigree tonight on the court tonight for both teams. She's only been playing for 3 years. She's only started to play basketball once she got to high school. Junior.
Foul be on Trapeau. At the line, Nyla Brooks. Got 11.
She had a nice first half. 10 points in the first half. 8 for 8 from the line. Now 9 for 9 from the line.
Kaylin Thomas checks in for the Wildcats, number 20. How about that? KK Hardy back in for the Eagles, and Durr will take a seat. Minutes to go.
Into the backcourt it goes, and they'll leave it there. So, turnover by Niceville. That will be maybe Niceville's biggest concern going forward, even getting healthy. Although, obviously with Fayard handling the ball as much as she will, both Nelson and Fayard together, that should go a long way towards solving that issue, but they really got to take better care of the basketball. Now again, Washington does this to a lot of teams. Francis comes up empty twice, but there's Samaya Johnson battling for the rebound along with Trapeau, I guess. And Niceville will get the ball on the alternate possession.
Those tie-ups here tonight. Quite a few.
A lot of tie-ups, no ties, no lead changes. Washington scored the first 10 points of the game and dominant throughout.
Kaylin Thomas getting her hand in there, breaking that up.
And there's Francis. No answer.
Poe trying everything she can. Francis just getting that position.
18 points for Francis tonight. Nelson pass deflected nicely by Brooks. Got 3.
Mariah Milton, 15, will check in for the Wildcats first time tonight. Coach Brown will take a timeout.
All right, we'll take it as well. 3:49 to play, and it's been all Washington.
You're watching Gene's Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
.349 to play here at Niceville. And the Niceville Eagles taking on Washington. Washington, second-ranked team in the state in Class 5A. Niceville ranked 5th now in 6A. Niceville playing without Carson Fayard for the 3rd straight game and falling to their 3rd straight loss without her. Hardy called for the foul. That should be number 5 on Hardy, I believe. No, they have her for 4. Right. But it is the 15th foul. So shooting foul. And Nyla Brooks goes to the line where
a quiet 12-point night. Brooks.
Yeah, it's a quiet 12-point, now 13-point night because she's gotten 11 of the 13 from the free throw line.
Exactly.
11 for 11 from the line. 12 for 12.
Love to see it. Rena Nelson taking the cross. She'd love to get something going here.
Yeah, it's been a difficult night for her. Washington's just done a great job defensively. They just haven't let her, after the big night she had against the Wildcats back in November, they just haven't let her do the things she did that night. Cutting and slashing, she hasn't really gotten to look at a 3. The two threes that I can remember her taking, she got it, the defense was arriving, she had to rush the shot, so she really didn't get a good look. They're showing good patience offensively. That's off the mark by Truffaut. There's a 3 again. That's again short. She's 0 for 3 on 3-pointers.
And a fast break opportunity.
Thomas.
Bowell Air Masters fast break.
Nice pass, outlet pass by Francis.
Clarity. Truffaut's trying to move the offense around, and Clarity just says, I'll take that with me.
I think Washington's highest scoring game of the year is 69. They scored 69 against Escambia. There's Thomas. Oh, can't get that to go. There's Francis, though.
Too strong. Coles. Giving it out to Nelson.
Nelson loses the handle, and it'll go over to the Wildcats with 1:43 to play.
Well, they're going to say it stays with the Eagles. Deflected.
Marina Durr back in the ball game, along with Bria Daly.
43 to play.
Backed up, look for the 3, now she'll take it. And the rebound comes off to Washington. That was Ryan Milton on the rebound. Getting in the books.
Good look.
Going to the free throw line again. Again, that'll be Thomas going to the line. Men intend to play, and while all that was going on over by the Washington bench, boy, Jade Brown up off the bench, she didn't like what Jada Clarity had done there, and coaching, and it kind of gets back to what we were talking about before. In a game like this, especially the second half of a game like this, where the outcome is not in doubt, you want to coach and make sure they pay attention to the details. Don't let any bad habits creep in there. It's all a matter about executing while you're here. They've done pretty well at that tonight. It's been a heck of a performance tonight. They've been pretty focused.
Yeah, we talked about Brown in the open, and the last 3 years, 60 and 11. I mean, she's fun to talk to. Yeah. Very energetic. Obviously, you see her right there. Very serious about that. Expects perfection out of her players, and they play hard, and you see it. I mean, she expects it out of them, and that's the tough thing. Every time you got to match up against Washington, I mean, we talked about with the boys the other night. Your passes better be true. They better be crisp. You better know what you're doing, or they'll pick you apart in a hurry.
Well, she was a terrific player at Woodham, playing for Chris Godwin, and then went to play at Long Island University in New York. She replaced Kara Ferris as the head coach at Washington. 14th season now.
Under a minute.
Nice
Francis.
pass. Nice pass by Brooks. Francis finishes off.
Francis got 20. We're trying. Nelson trying to get it going.
Well, again, she's had, her game is versatile enough. If she doesn't hit three, she can score other ways. Well, Washington's taken the other ways away from her. There's been no place for her to go, no way to, the slashing game that sometimes that she will turn to hasn't been there just because of great defense by Washington. And that'll do it. Washington wins impressively, 64-27. We'll be back to crown the champions, talk to the coach and the players of the game when we wrap this up. Spoiler alert.
You're watching Gene's Floor Coverings High School Hoops, presented by Emmanuel, Shepherd, and Condon.
All right, back at Niceville with the victorious Washington Wildcats. Coach Jade Brown, 12 wins in a row. Congratulations, and against some quality opponents as well. I know Carson Fayard not being there makes them a little bit of a different team, but it's a pretty solid performance all the way around.
Yeah, got to correct, Booker T. But, great team effort, great team. It's a great atmosphere to come in here. They got us the first time, so, this is the last game on the schedule for the regular season, so we're on a mission to get better each game. We came out, I thought we dominated pretty well.
You know, we talked about this, getting ready for this game, what you're looking for from your team at this time of year, and were there any things in particular you really wanted to see with this opponent and at this time?
Yeah, execution. Continue to get better every day. We still got a lot of things to work on, still got a lot of stuff in front of us, but we got to continue to be consistent for 4 quarters. Paying attention to details, lock in, trust the process, and play complete games.
We were talking in the second half, when you have the big lead in a game like this, sometimes the danger is you get a little lackadaisical and lose some focus. Were you pretty happy with the way you were able to stay focused?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you get a win anytime over here and a big win, you're always going to be excited. So we just got things to work on. And like I said, I'm proud of the effort that we gave. The energy was pretty consistent, so we got it done.
We have Jada and Shemaiah as our co-players of the game, because both Shemaiah had 20. Jada had 18, really solid performance, lots of great performances all the way around. But can you talk about those two and what they gave you, not just tonight, but overall?
I mean, when they're locked in, they're pretty unstoppable. And when you got both of them on the floor at the same time, pick your poison. So tonight they both were on and doing what they need to do. But a big contribution as well to our ball handlers looking up, feeding them early, getting it finished. Nyla Kayla gave a lot of good assists. So when things like that happen and our defensive effort was there as well, it's total team effort. And they'll tell you, I mean, both of them are team players, so they may have got MVP, but I think they're two very unselfish people. But when you got kids like that, sometimes you get excited to just watch them play and get out there and work.
They are players of the game for Closets by Design. Shemaiah, Jada, can we talk to you just a second? Have a quick word. There you are. Congratulations. Congratulations. You've been through this before. Both of you have. Expectations are really high at Booker T. And so when you look towards the postseason, what did you want to see out of your team tonight, and what did you see that you like most?
I wanted to see us just play together and come together as a team and win.
And how has your role maybe changed this year, now with a year in the books, and now that you're a veteran sophomore?
Just, contributing to my team and making sure we all together and just stay together.
Very good. Shemaiah, you've had, obviously it's been a long battle to come back, and how close do you think you are to being, the Shemaiah Francis that we all know?
I think I think I'm really there. I just got to trust myself. Like, I'm here. I just got to do it. I'm there.
It seemed there was a moment in the game where it just sort of seemed like it kind of like the light came on and it kind of clicked, and maybe you got a little more aggressive. Was that the way it was for you?
Yeah, I've been trying to do that from the start, trying to get warmed up before the game, and so I can start right off jump. I'm just working on getting in there quicker. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. You are our Closets by Design players of the game. And the Booker T. Washington Wildcats victors tonight. We have a trophy for you as well. Congratulations, 64-27 over Niceville. Coach Jade Brown, congratulations. Thank you very much. Safe travels home. All right, that'll do it for tonight. Dan Shugart saying so long for Jeff Price and our entire crew here who worked on a very cold day to get things set up. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you from Catholic on Friday. Good night from Niceville.
They can't stop what they can't hold. Can't rock what they can't go. Can't top what